just to kick us off, I just wanted to let you know why we did this and who's involved, and then we'll get started. The main purpose of all of this is we're all just Woodlanders trying to figure out how to make our city better, make the quality of life better. And a very important part of that process is to figure out which Woodlanders we want to lead, officially and unofficially. And so we have some very official leaders who are here today and some very unofficial leaders that are here today. And so you'll definitely get a chance to hear from all the people who want officially to lead us. But before we get there, I want to point out the group of people that brought this together. And the great thing is, the reason we did this is it's just something we needed for our community, and we didn't find someone who was already doing it. And so like all people who care about the community, we said, well, why don't we just do it? And so the person that really spearheaded this is Brian Coward. Brian, do you want to unmute yourself and say hello?
Yeah, hello everybody. Yeah, thank you to the candidates for participating, and to our group members that all picked up all the various component parts of making something like this happen. It was just getting the ball rolling, and then once we were going, everybody kind of chipped in, and so we got here. And thank you to everyone.
Nice, thank you, Brian. And so he'll be running a lot of behind the scenes work today, and he'll also be helping our candidates stay on track in terms of the clock. And so we also want to thank Christy Grettenberger, who's gonna our tech side today. You want to mute yourself and say hello? I can't tell if the audience can see you.
Sure, hi. Brian said it all already.
Yeah, and also Murray Levinson is also the brains behind a lot of what happened today, in addition to organizing us and a lot of the way we posed our questions, getting questions out to the candidates. Want to say hello, Murray?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for participating.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do is kind of outline what's going to work today. And so the nice thing is we're going to give ourselves 2 hours to accomplish the main goal, and that is get to know your candidates. Some of us know the candidates to some degree. Other people I've never even met until today. And so that's the whole point, is we're going to give ourselves 2 hours to ask them questions that we care about. All these questions come from Woodlanders just worrying about our city. The first 4 questions that all candidates are going to get are pre-made questions that this group came together and made. It's a bank of questions, actually, that we sent all the candidates. They don't know which 4 we're going to ask today, so they had a chance to prepare. They'll have 2 minutes to respond to those questions. And then the response will be in a randomized order, so they don't know which order it's going to be. I'll announce the order before they have a chance to respond. And then we'll also have a chance for all the audience. So all of you out there that are listening live right now, thanks for joining us. You're going to get a chance to ask questions too. So as you're here listening, think of questions you want to know. And you see at the bottom of your screen, you see that Q&A feature. Go ahead and put your questions in the Q&A feature. It'll go to our group, and we'll be looking at those questions. And then at the second half of today, we're also going to pose those questions and make sure whatever questions you ask are designed to be answered by all candidates. So it's not a single candidate question, but one that all candidates have a chance to respond to. And so as we move on to the very beginning of all of this, we're going to let each of the candidates introduce themselves. And I want to thank one more group of people I forgot to thank, and that is you, the listener. Obviously you care, thank you. If you're watching on live feed, or if you're watching this later on your own time, thank you. A very important part of taking care of our community is having an active, engaged citizenry. And so you're a part of that just for being here. So really take to heart everything you hear today, and make sure that when you go to the ballot or however you're going to vote, make sure to think about what you're doing with your vote, and also stay involved. So we're going to go through each of the districts. What I'm going to do for their introductions, each candidate will have 2 minutes to say who they are and however they want to introduce themselves. We're going to go district by district in numerical order of their district. And so our very first pair of candidates come from District 2. And Tom Stallard and Karen Rosenkilde-Bayne are representing District 2. And so Tom Stallard, would you like to have 2 minutes to introduce yourself? And Tom, you're on mute. That won't count against your time, don't worry. Welcome.
Thank you, Eric. And thank you, Brian. Thank you, Christy and Murray and everyone that's had a hand in putting this together. It's an impressive effort. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of coordination. It's also pretty exciting to see what technology is now making possible. it's a new world, and it's great to be using it. I'm very grateful that Zoom existed in this time of COVID. It's allowed us to continue with so many things that otherwise would be impossible to do. My wife and I came to Woodland more than 40 years ago, and I started law school at UC Davis. We immediately dived into the community, joining the Iowa County Historical Society, a local church, and our first efforts was putting the Woodland Opera House back on track to be restored. And today we have the benefit of all that hard work. We have a heart for public service, both of us. By the way, I have an audience of one. My wife is sitting over here in the corner. There she is. Just so you know, she's my top critic, also my biggest help, and I couldn't be more grateful for her. But anyway, we just found ourselves falling in love with this community. We came here from Irvine, where everything was brand new, and all of a sudden Woodland, you know, you've got all this character and history, and it just really appealed to us, and we've just embraced it, as I said. We've had a family of 3 children. We now have two grandchildren. They live across the street. We're very grateful for that. So we have a big stake in this community. It's not only produced a great life for us, it's now providing a great life for our grandchildren. So we care about the future, and even though we've been doing this for many years, we still want to stay engaged with our community. Don't let anybody ever tell you that Woodland isn't just one of the finest places you could ever live, because it is. It isn't free of challenges, but we have a lot of pluses here, and we've traveled a lot, and we still feel Woodland is the best place we've been. Anyway, those businesses were thankfully successful, allowed me to get to work and restoring Main Street. If you didn't know what, I've been fixing up historic buildings for a long time. And if you look at that corner 2nd and Main Street, that's our latest building. We're building 7 apartments in that building, plus 3 new commercial spaces, the old Pearson's Appliances. Along the way, we provide.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I lost track of time. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. And so make sure all candidates, you can see Brian Coward's video. He'll let you know at 30 seconds, and then time left, and then 2 minutes. So this is kind of our practice run for how that works. I really hate interrupting people. No worries. Thank you, Tom. And I'm sure you'll have a chance to talk about more of that in your next few responses as well. And so next up, we have Karen Bain, also representing a candidate from District 2.
Thank you so much. So right now, we are experiencing 4 concurrent crises: a public health crisis, a climate crisis, an economic crisis, and a crisis of racism. To address these issues, we need leadership that is in touch with everyone in our community. We need leadership who will make sure that everyone's voice is heard. And we need leadership that will put our community, our entire community, first. My name is Karen Rosenkilde-Bayne, and I'm running for City Council in District 2. I'm a person who puts service over self. I always have. Whether it was volunteering as a day camp leader in San Francisco's Chinatown when I was in high school, working with children of migrant farm workers and Native American children when I was in graduate school, or choosing education as a career, my focus has always been on service to others. I served on our school board for 4 years, and while I was there, I passionately advocated for more counselors and nurses to meet the needs of our students. I advocated for more transparency and accountability by questioning expenditures to ensure that we always put our students first. And I served in my role, as I served in my role on the school board, I began to see that children need more than just a good education to thrive. They need a good community too. That's why I'm running for City Council. Kids need to grow up in a community which values them for who they are, and just as importantly, who they can become. Kids and parents, and all of us really, do best in a community where there's optimism and hope, not just for some days, but for every day. When I was designing my campaign logo, I wanted to draw something that represented Woodland and my vision for our community. You can see the logo that I drew behind me. We're rooted in agriculture, everyone belongs, we can be a city where the sun always rises, and we can go forward together. I want to thank KYC for working so hard to create this event, as well as everyone who's joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. And next up, we have representatives from District 4. And so while we have 2 candidates from District 4, one of the candidates was unable to join at the moment. So we have Vicky Fernandez.
Yeah. Well, good afternoon. Thank you for having us. I'm a Woodland native. I've been a teacher, a wife, and a mother, and a lifetime Woodland volunteer. So I'm running for Woodland City Council because I care about our community. I have been married for 38 years to Armando Fernandez, who is a retired police officer who also served Woodland and UC Davis Police Department. I have 4 wonderful children, unbiasedly, Enrique, Christina, Alex, and Robert, who all grew up here in Woodland and attended our public schools. And I now have a granddaughter, Sierra, who is 2 years old. And I am concerned about her future. I am fortunate that our 4 children were able to grow up in a wonderful community. I believe in the people of Woodland. I appreciate who they are. I've seen Woodland grow and change. I've been here my entire life, and I value the principles and morals that we grew up with and the integrity that our community has for each other. So I'm here because I care about its future. I want to make sure that we are serving all of Woodland's residents and that we have opportunities for all our residents to grow and prosper, just as my family has had the opportunity to grow and prosper in this great town. I want to continue serving in a different environment. As a teacher for over 35 years, it's been an education and the hope that I believe our children have to contribute to our society and to our community. So that's why I'm here, and I'm pursuing City Council because I want to continue to encourage others outside the classroom to believe in the prosperity and the diversity and historic value that Woodland has to offer everyone, and that I appreciate learning about everyone's background and their needs so that I can represent them as best as I can on the City Council, representing District 4. So thank you so much for your time and your energy, and know that it's appreciated. I know that we're in very challenging times with COVID, and we haven't had the opportunity to go out and meet the public as we would in a normal election cycle. So thank you for doing this for us. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Vicky. All right, and as I said, there are 2 candidates running for District 4, but we have 1 here with us today, and we have 2 candidates from District 5 joining us today. And so first, I'd like to introduce Joe Romero, Jr.
Hi, everybody. Thank you to Know Your Candidates for hosting this forum. It's the only one in the city that we've been able to participate in. I know the League of Women Voters couldn't, do it, so I really appreciate this. And I'm just going to jump right in. But my name's Joe Romero Jr. I'm a lifelong resident here in Woodland. I was born and raised here in Woodland. I know the issues of this town and growing city that we have. My family immigrated here in the early 40s. And since then, Woodland's always been able to take care of us. We've worked hard, and I feel like giving back. But, I've also was a 2-term Parks Commissioner, and I've learned the ropes with my time there on the Parks Commission as the budget chair. I was also the chairman of the commission in 2012, my first year. There was a lot of work to be done. A lot of members weren't on the commission. And I'd really like to promote the commissions that we have here in Woodland. I know we have a few vacancies, and I'd like to, get more people engaged in that way. But, I'll talk more about the issues later. But as far as why I'm running and who I am, that's I was born and raised here in Woodland. I know the issues, and so thank you so much for your guys' opportunity for us to debate.
Nice. Thank you, Joe. And we have 1 more candidate to bring us home. So we have another candidate from District 5. That is Mayra Vega. Apologize. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Hey, the KYC team, thank you so much for putting this together and helping us through these challenging and odd times. Zoom is the new reality for now, and I know it doesn't come easy to put together a group like this and also communicate out to the community. So thank you for all the work. I'm Mayra Vega. I live in Spring Lake. Woodland welcomed my family in 2018. And we have fallen in love with the city. So we, my husband and I, when we decided it was time to move our family, we had an opportunity to look at all of Northern California for options, and Woodland really came to the top. This is a beautiful city, has that hometown feel where you walk down the street and you run into folks that work in town that are heading up businesses. And it really struck my husband and I as a place where we wanted to raise our 2 children. We have 2 children, Herman, who's a sophomore at Pioneer, and my little girl, Teresa, who's a preschooler here in town and gives me a run for my money and my energy. You know, my son started his last year of junior high here, and he really taught me a lot about the Woodland community. You know, he would come home and say, Mom, you know, he rode his bike. So we live in Spring Lake, and he rode his bike every day, rain or shine. And I was always concerned about him, you know, being new and not knowing folks. He says, yes, I'm new, Mom, but you know, everybody's really nice. My teachers are great. It's safe. Drivers are courteous. You don't have to worry about it. I'm really happy. This is a great place. So, you know, my children have inspired me. I have many, many years of parenting to go. In fact, I don't think that'll never end. So I'm running for city council because I want to make sure that I'm working hard to ensure that all of our families have a high quality of life, that our city is safe, and that our youth has the opportunity to grow and develop and have meaningful careers, and that I'm able to retire in this great place and enjoy this beautiful area. Look forward to talking more about the issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayra.